The purpose of this series is to explore some of the basic components of generative AI. As this is a constantly evolving landscape, consider these videos as snapshots of our understanding of this technology at this time. This video will briefly explain how artificial intelligence and generative AI is defined, as well as the history of the field of study. With that in mind, let's get started. So what is artificial intelligence? AI has many definitions depending on the field of study. I would like to go back to the original definition from the 1950s created by Alan Turing, in which artificial intelligence is the ability of machines to imitate human intelligence. The key word here is imitate, because as I will explain further on in this series, these models that are in place are not actual one-to-ones of the human brain. These are essentially computer algorithms based on probability from training data, and cannot encapsulate the entirety of what it means to be human. It is really important to remember this when all of the commercial marketing and PR is being thrown at you. To understand that fully, I think you need to know some of the history behind this field. Now, I bring up the history of artificial intelligence and its field of study because this is not a completely new development. It could be argued that artificial intelligence as a concept has been around a lot longer than the 1950s due to science fiction and other writings, but the best thing to focus on is that this really wasn't established as a field of study until 1956 with the Dartmouth Conference. Later on in the 60s and 70s, there were projects that kind of seem similar to what we have now in terms of chatbots. The most famous one is MIT's ELIZA project. Then, in the 1980s, there was the commercialization of these systems that were called expert systems. In 2017, there was a breakthrough published in an article titled "Attention is All You Need." And with that breakthrough, 5 years later, ChatGPT was released to the public in November 2022. So this has been around for quite some time, and I highlight this just because since the 1950s, it has been a promise from researchers in this field that artificial intelligence is 5 years away or 10 years away. With these promises not coming to fruition in the timelines given, new terms have been created to define the stages of AI researchers aim for. Currently, it is being argued that we don't have full AI, we have narrow intelligence. Artificial narrow intelligence is this concept that these systems can do specific things, but they are not able to learn based on experiences from those tasks to then apply in other future instances. Narrow intelligence is basically just reflections of past work in terms of what data was given to these models. The idea is that we are at this narrow intelligence, and that will evolve to general intelligence, where the models can learn from previous experiences at some point in the near future, if we just keep giving these machines more data. AGI currently is not possible. The next step that they argue after artificial general intelligence is superintelligence, where these models would be even smarter than humans. They would be able to predict things that we have no ability to. They would be able to synthesize large amounts of data to be able to create new ways of doing things. ASI is also currently not possible at this time. When people think of ASI and AGI, they kind of go into the doomsday scenario with Westworld or the Terminator, which just shows how a lot of this is still science fiction in a way. We don't truly know how to get to general intelligence at this point. We have these very specific, narrow applications of AI at this time, but it's still not what we're being advertised. Okay, I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but I want to go back to definitions. What is generative AI exactly? Generative AI in this series is going to be based on Gallant Torres and colleagues' definition, that generative AI is an advanced language model capable of generating text, images, voice, code, or music in response to user requests expressed in natural language. Natural language just means what you write normally, for texting or for searching on the internet, etc. And what I'm really trying to highlight here is that generative AI is not actually intelligent or alive. It is that imitation, once again, that Alan Turing had defined it as. This is a statistical prediction engine because it's a computer model that is calculating what will be generated based on probability from your prompts and its data. To understand what that means, we need to get into what these LLMs actually do. The next video will explore how these LLMs work, the process behind the chatbot. If you still have any questions, WCC Library is here to help. Feel free to reach out to us by email, phone call, text, or chatting online. A librarian will be available to chat with you Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.